This is your homegirl, Arabia Barbosa, and I'm on Port Western County, New York, doing another live video real quick. And I just want to let it be known. I know I am the German Shepherd in the room, the BT 1000, Lucy the Vampire, Jeeper Creeper on this shit. That's who I am, Arabia Barbosa. 914, Westchester County, New York. But I'm also reclaiming my time. I'm reclaiming my time. I'm reclaiming my time. Brown skin lady, you disappointed me last night very well. You sided with facts over feelings, so it is what it is. Shout out to the chat. Mm. I understand that some women go over there with certain men. They feel the men going to protect them. Shout out to the chat. It is what it is. Facts or feelings. He threatened to slap the shit out of me. I'm laughing because I know he's never going to do it. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. But I'm going to release everything in this fucking video. Shout out to the chat. It is what it is. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the motherfucking chat. My moderators are not here right now. They'll come back on the playback. But you know what I really want to say in this video? Facts over feelings. He is a bum. He live with his mama. He be doing his videos on her porch. He be doing videos where he's cold as shit in the house. Why your house don't have heat? Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. And I remember certain things about him. And I said, oh Lord, have mercy. Have mercy on me. For you supporting this dumbass nigga. He a dumbass nigga. 3 generations of dumbass niggas in that one house. Shout out to the chat. But in my house, in my family, if you are in the streets, they will put you out. They will tell you struggle on your own. They will tell you to survive on your own. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. It is what it is. 914, Westchester County, New York. We are in the house. We are in the motherfucking house. We're getting ready to leave to go to work in a little while. And I'm very interested in what people be saying about me on YouTube. Shout out to the chat. Yeah. Yeah. Shout out to the chat. We got ghost watchers. Nobody's in the chat, but we got ghost watchers. Shout out to the chat. Only my moderators will know that. My moderators will know that. Shout out to them. Shout out to my support team. Shout out to my YouTube creators, my subscribers. Thank you for coming in. Now, I got a phone call. I'm not answering no phone calls while I'm doing a live video. But I want to let the whole world know. This is your homegirl, Arabia Barbosa, 914, Westchester County, New York. I'm from Westchester County, New York. Born and raised. 5-generation New Yorker. Then one of my great-grandparents came from the Cape Verde Islands. So I'm doing this from my Cape Verdean heart. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. I'm not mad with nobody. I'm not mad with none of these women on YouTube. These women on YouTube is very strong and very powerful. Shout out to the chat. They're very strong and very powerful. I look at brown skin lady. I said, wow, she's very powerful. Shout out to the chat. Empress Lonnie Love, very powerful. Shout out to the chat. Different women on YouTube is very powerful. But what I want my subscribers to do is build their own channels. Build your own channels and tell your story. Tell your story. I can't tell your story. If I tell your story gonna be shut down real quick because I like to do curse words and threaten people and all that. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. Brown skin lady over there doing her videos. You know, I don't care what she does. I don't care what she does. She shouted me out the other night, but she sided. She took a side with Facts Over Feelings. You took a side with him. And whew, chat. Go back into the history. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. It is what it is. Number 4, which is the county, New York. We are in the house. Share the video. Like and share the video. We get more people in the chat. Shout out to the chat. Yeah. But Facts Over Feelings, he's very interesting character on YouTube. And he really loves to attack women on YouTube, like to threaten them, like to curse them out when he get on a panel. The only thing I can say to brown skin lady, if he does the same thing I did a year ago, drop him from off the panel. Drop him, because he's going to slip up. He's going to slip up and say some bullshit on your channel. It is what it is. Shout out to the chat. I remember when I first came on YouTube, I was looking at Tommy Sotomayor from 2013 all the way to 2021. In between those times, I was listening to other YouTube creators, Tanya TKO, Cynthia G, other YouTube creators, male and female. Shout out to the chat. But when I got into my feelings one particular night, I spoke some words, and the other YouTube creator dropped me off their panel. That's the punishment. Don't you come up there and threaten nobody. Don't you come up there and say you're going to do this and do that on their panel. You do it on your panel. Do it on your panel. Shout out to the chat. It is what it is. Sis has dropped me off. Lonnie One Love has dropped me off. Brown Skin Lady has dropped me. Plenty of the YouTube creators. When I spoke certain words, they dropped me off. They dropped me down. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the motherfucking chat. It is what it is. 914, which is the county of New York. We are in the motherfucking house. And I am mad as hell. Don't nobody disrespect Arabia Barbosa. Don't nobody threaten me. I take threats very seriously. I take threats very seriously. And that's what I'm going to do. Shout out to the chat. That's what I'm going to do. And if I threaten anyone, the YouTube creators I was on their panel with, They would drop me down and they would say, "Get out of here. Don't come over here." Like that. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. But facts or feelings. He don't care about nobody on this YouTube app. You seen what he did with other women on YouTube, threaten them, threaten to kill them, threaten to rape them. Then there was another YouTube creator on another sector of YouTube threatened to rape a woman and her child. And I spoke out against it. Facts or feelings didn't do no right away. He don't do nothing right away. He feel everything supposed to be in his hand. We not your mama. We not your grandmama. We not your aunt. We not your cousin. We not your sister. We ain't none of them people. Shout out to the chat. New York. New York is in the motherfucking house. Westchester County, New York. New York City is in the motherfucking house. Shout out to the fucking chat. It is what the fuck it is. And I refuse to be buried by a drop shot, no name, off brand nigga from Baltimore. You got mad at me because I would not support your last scheme. Your last scheme of feeding the homeless in Baltimore. They got pantries, they got soup kitchens, they got all that. They got that just like Columbia, South Carolina got it. Just like Greenville, South Carolina got it. Just like New York got it. Just like New Jersey got it. Shout out to the chat. And you know, some of my relatives were questioning me about my YouTube channel. Shout out to the chat. Boston, Massachusetts, they questioned me. New York questioned me. New Jersey questioned me. Connecticut questioned me. California questioned me. The Cape Verdean Islands questioned me about that dude. I said, whoa, wait a minute now. They said, oh, no. We heard his words. We heard your words. We know your words are coming from hurt, pain, being abused as a young child. We was not over that. We had no control over that. Shout out to the chat. But I'm going to make sure my voice be heard. I'll make sure my voice be heard. Anybody want to hit the link? You're in my chat. Hit the link. Shout out to the chat. Anybody got anything to say to me? Hit the link. The link is there. The link is there. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to my moderators. Shout out to my subscribers. Shout out to my YouTube creators. But you heard the judgment of brown skinned lady. She says she's siding with facts over feelings. She's siding with him. Said, fuck Arabia. Arabia been supporting my page for over a year. Did facts over feelings ever cash app you? Twice a week? 3 times a week? Once a month? Once a year? No, he did not do nothing. He's a broke ass nigga. He's a homeless motherfucker. He living on his mother porch. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. He's not the only one I went to war against. I went to war against a lot of people on this YouTube app. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about none of that. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to Sis Rebel Got a Wrench. My biggest enemy and my biggest supporter. How that happened? Because I'm from New York. and he want my voice to be heard, whether I'm positive or negative. Shout out to the chat. Empress Line One Love. She put out certain videos about me. I don't care. And those are my videos. Those are my audios. Shout out to the chat. She was trying to make me a bigger YouTuber, more stronger than anybody on YouTube. If you can get that woman voice and her audio, a shout out to the chat. And Arabia will listen to the video. Listen to the video. I heard my sins. I heard my crimes. I heard everything. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to Empress Lion One Love for exposing that. Shout out to her. Shout out to the chat. Sister T, you in my chat? Sister T, hit the link. Sister T, the link is already dropped. What are you talking about? Let's drop it again for Sister T. Let's drop it again for Sister T. Let's drop the link for Sister T. So Sister T can come in here and talk her shit. Shout out to the chat. See, that's what I love about my women on YouTube. They can actually come into my chat and say, drop the link, bitch. Drop the link. But are you gonna be your own self? Be your own self. Don't stop being yourself. Hit the link. The link is dropped. Shout out to the chat. Oh, okay. Here we go. Woo! Sister T at the stage.
Child, you crazy. Hey, Arabia girl, you crazy. You asked me to drop the link when you came over to my chat the other day, and I didn't see you. So I was over in your chat because I sent the message and you didn't respond. So when I saw you live, I just asked you, did you have anything to say to me? I didn't know. So you talking about drop the link. You talking about the link is already dropped. I'm saying, what is Arabia talking about? I'm not talking about her drop the link for me. I see that damn link way at the top there. Highlight it, hit the link. So did you need anything from me? That's why I'm here.
Sister T, I just want you to tell your story
About what? I ain't got no
about
story to tell.
what you doing with the homeless and how you got angry with KB. Because I never liked him. I never liked him.
Girl, I'm not gonna talk about that animal. But as far as the homeless is concerned, I did that way before YouTube, and when I got supporters that's helping me um, continue doing it, it just made it better, and it took me another place versus all this craziness on YouTube, baby.
But I
But
talked to you,
that's all you wanted. That's all you wanted with me, though.
child. The only thing I wanted from you, Sister T, was to tell your story.
I ain't
Because,
got no story to tell.
Sister T, let me tell you something. When I first came back on YouTube, real quick, and I was in Sis chat, and you had hit the link, and you talked to me then. You have
Yep.
talked to me. Plenty of women on this YouTube app has talked to me, and I
Hmm.
appreciate it.
Hmm.
Thank you for coming over.
No,
Shout out
you
to,
welcome.
shout out to the chat.
You take
Sister
care of
T,
yourself. Hmm?
Sister T, and thank you for coming over.
No, you just take care of yourself. I'm gone now. That's all you wanted. So you just take care of yourself, and we'll talk another time. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Bye, babe.
All right. Shout out to Sister T for hitting the link. There's a lot of women on YouTube that has hit this link, and they are always afraid because They are afraid that somebody is going to attack me. Don't worry about somebody attacking me. Arabia Barbosa is going to be all right. I'm going to be all right at the end of the day. People can attack me all day. I don't care. They can talk about me, talk about my short hair, talk about whatever they want to talk about. People have released different videos about me talking shit in my own real life. Sister T has never done that. Queen Regina has never done it. Shout out to them. They have never released those videos where I was talking shit about myself. They heard the videos. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, Sister T, I will take care. You told me that over a year ago when I was on Sis panel, and you told me I need to take a break from YouTube. And I do need to take a break from YouTube because certain women on YouTube I thought was riding in my corner. They're not riding. They want to side with someone else. You pick a side. Pick a side. And I'll be all right. Sister T don't got no side. She didn't pick no side. Queen Regina ain't pick no side. Empress Lonnie One Love ain't pick no side. Quick. Empress Lonnie One Love has hit this link plenty of time. And she said, Arabia, I'm not picking no side. I just want you to be all right. Because at the end of the day, you are going to be in tears. You are going to be alone. You. That's why Empress Lonnie One Love hit my link a couple of mornings ago. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to my moderators. My moderators, if you're in the chat, look at the chat real quick. And I will deal with the chat. Y'all don't have to do nothing. Just be silent. Be silent and let me ride. Let me ride. Sister T, thank you for hitting my line. Because I never thought you would ever hit my link. You, Queen Regina, and quite a few women on YouTube has hit this link. Empress Line One has hit this link. The only one that's never hit this link is Brown Skin Lady. And that was the one I was supporting the most. Shout out to the chat. My moderators know it. My team, my support team know it. Everybody know it. I'm not mad with Brown Skin Lady, but don't side with facts over feelings. I told you what he was doing. But you didn't listen. You laughed. You laughed. You laughed. And the one you thought you were laughing with, she looking at you real crazy. Arabia is subscribed to you. Arabia support your page. Arabia ride with you. Arabia will die for you. Don't disrespect Arabia Barbosa. Don't disrespect me. Shout out to the chat. And I'm getting very tired and very sleepy. And Birdman, he was supposed to come over here and do some paint work, but I called him earlier and I told him, don't come. Don't come. Come tomorrow. I gotta go to work tonight, get the money up. Birdman will be right in here painting. He will paint this whole goddamn part. But I don't want him to paint my bedroom the white paint. I want another color. He said, what color you want? I want eggshell black on my walls. He said, shout out to Jack. He said, Arabia, I'll paint it. I'll paint it. And once we paint this apartment, Arabia, we gotta leave out for a few hours, let the paint settle in and all that. Shout out to the chat. Mm-hmm. Shout out to the chat. Sister T, you all right with me. You all right with me. You doing your thing, and I didn't want nobody to disrespect you for going to jail that one time. Sister T, you don't got no record. You ain't got no record like the way I got. Oh, child, I had to sit in prison for 6 years and 7 months. And you know what they did to me, Sister T? Because I was so violent and angry with the whole world, and I attacked different people. They had to put me on lockup for 3 years and 9 months. That's almost 4 years. So that changed everything about. I'm not no victim. I did the crime. I did my time, and I did some more time in the time. And when I used to call my mother, she used to say, Arabia, you sitting in the belly of the beast. Be quiet for a while. Let me take care of something. And my mother used to call and be like, yo, let my daughter off a lockup. She can't take that lockup. He like, we gonna let her stay on lockup. 3 years and 9 months, almost 4 years. Because I had a mental illness, and my mother kept telling them she got a mental illness, a mental illness. Let her out, let her out. If you don't let her out, this woman gonna be a savage. When my mother died, the woman that raised me, my mother, when she died in 2019, I became so upset and very in my own mind. Thank God for Birdman. Because Birdman was able to come in and he said, come on, Arabia, come on, come on. And he would take me different places and, try to play the music and all that and invite my homegirls over. And he like, I'm trying to get everything for Arabia. Arabia not getting it. Arabia not clicking. Shout out to the chat. I never clicked. None of that bullshit. Even my homegirl KK tried to get me to click with all that. I did it for a little while, but I couldn't click. Birdman had to come back in and he said, my name is my name. Shout out to the chat. And Birdman took me away. He was trying to come over here today to paint this apartment. I gotta sit here in this apartment with these white walls and the white ceiling. He said, Arabia, let me in. I will paint the apartment. And I said, I need my bedroom to be painted a different color. He said, what you want? I said, eggshell black. He said, I'm going to paint it. But what you want on the wall? Do you want your name? Do you want your mirror image to be up there? Do you want an owl to be on there? I said, I want all that. He said, oh. He said, Arabia, I'm going to come in and paint the apartment. You paint your bedroom the way you want it to get painted. Put the owl on the wall, put whatever you want on the wall, put your name, put whatever you want, and you good. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. Yeah, Birdman, he's very loyal to me. I'm gonna tell you how I found Birdman. I was sitting in Marion Square, right there in downtown Charleston, South Carolina. That's how I found Birdman. And then 3 years later, Birdman fell on the ground. It was raining. It was around his birthday. It was the day before his birthday. I had to call the ambulance. Had to call the ambulance and tell him to come get him. I sat in the ambulance with him. He went through his surgery. I sat in that hospital with him for 5 days. After 5 days, I went back to work. I went back to my temporary job and got the money up for me and Birdman. Birdman's birthday was on December the 25th. He's a Christmas baby. I had to get him something. Right now, I'm thinking about getting him another birthday gift. He thinking about giving me a birthday gift. I said, Birdman, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. I always wanted to take care of everything and everyone. And that was my biggest problem. That was my biggest issue. And he used to tell me about it. My sisters used to tell me about it. My homegirl used to tell me about it. Got two homegirls. One from New York, one from Baltimore. Whew. Arabia, you worry about everybody and you ain't worried about yourself? Worry about yourself. I got everything in the house that I want, that I need. So I try to give what I got. Give, give. And my mother told me, she said, that would be the end of you. Learn how to survive. Learn how to survive. Because I ain't going to be here with you all the time. My mother, the woman that raised me, died in 2019. I had to go back into her paperwork. I had to go back to the home that she lived in. I had to go back into it. Yo, that was fucking with me. Birdman knew. He said, no. Come on. No. Birdman been floating with me almost 8 years. 8 years. Birdman been floating with me. Baltimore been floating with me almost 8 years. KK been floating with me almost 8 years. Other people been floating with me almost 8 years. It'd be 10 years for certain people from New York. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. It is what it is. Sister T, I ain't got nothing against you. I ain't got nothing against you. I ain't got nothing against you. I ain't got nothing against Sister I ain't got nothing against Sister T. I ain't got nothing against Queen Regina. I ain't got nothing against none of these two women. They never spoke the words I spoke on different panels. On my own channel. Shout out to the chat. It is what it is. I was cool with Empress Line 1. I'm still cool with Empress Line. Empress Line 1 come in and say, Radio, that's what I did to you. She tried. No success. You know why she didn't get no success? Because she's not my mama. She's not my wife. If she was one of those two people, she would have got her success. I would be sitting in a hospital right now. I'd be sitting in a hospital right now if Lonnie One Love was my wife or my mother. Shout out to the chat. Just shout out to the chat. If brown skinned lady was my wife or my mother, I would have been I wouldn't even be on YouTube right now. I wouldn't even be here. Birdman know it. Birdman know it. He said, oh. It's Arabia. These two women care about you. They care about you. Lonnie was the only one to snitch on me. Snitch. I laugh. I love Lonnie. I do. Lonnie, Lonnie was snitch on you if you're not doing something right. She was snitch. But I appreciate Lonnie. I appreciate Brown Skin Lady. I appreciate Queen. I appreciate Sister T. There's a lot of women on YouTube been trying to snitch on Arabia Barbosa. A lot of women on YouTube. They're YouTube creators. They're a moderator somewhere. They're a subscriber somewhere. They all call, but they can't get rid of me. It's like you gotta be her mama or the wife. You gotta call. When you call, you gotta be present, like physically. If you ain't physical, we gonna listen to that. Arabia is very I'm very nice and appreciative of my women on YouTube. Shout out to the chat. 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 This is Sister T second time talking to me. Shout out to the chat. Queen Regina has talked to me on this YouTube app. Shout out to her. Brown Skin Lady has talked to me on this app. Shout out to her. Empress Lion Life has talked to me on this chat. Shout out to her. Selena has talked to me on this chat. Shout out to the chat. The men that came in. Says Rabbit got a bench. Will T, Ronald Jones, different men has come on this app and talked to me. But they couldn't get no results. And I talked to Birdman today, and he said, Arabia, I'm trying to get over there to you. And I want to paint your apartment. I want to give you the apartment you need to have. You got everything else. You got everything else you need and want. And he trying to give me the paint on the wall. But my bedroom got to be painted a different color. Because the rest of the house is going to be painted white. Stark white. I'm like, what? White? Ooh, he said, Arabia, we got to paint the ceiling. We got to paint the baseboards. We got to paint the molding. We got to cover the floor. We got to do this. We got to do it. He said, Arabia, everything is good with the paint. He said, well, if you want your bedroom to be painted a different color, let me know. What it is. I told him. He don't have it. Now that means I gotta buy it. Well, shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. Yeah. Your homegirl, Arabia Barbosa. Yeah. I need this apartment painted. Because like Lonnie said, the paint on the walls remind me of prison. It remind me of the mental hospitals. It remind me of different aspects in my life. And she heard my cry. My cry. She heard it. Other women on YouTube have heard me cry. Yeah, wow. Arabia, just get it done. I'm thinking about painting the bedroom eggshell black. Eggshell black. Trim everything with white. Birdman probably gonna take back that clock he gave me. I don't know. He's thinking about it. He wants me to give it back to him. I'm not giving back nothing to you. That clock belonged to me. Everybody be laughing at me when I do that clock videos, the short videos, and I be holding on to the clock. I'm holding on to Birdman. I'm holding on to my time. I'm reclaiming my time. That's why usually when I hold that clock, it's reclaiming my time. I'm holding the time. Shout out to the chat. I'm out of here. I'm out of here. But thank you, Sister T, for coming over. Thank everyone for coming over. Like and share the video. Like and share the video. And Sister T, I never thought Sister T would ever hit this night. Sister T, she got a heart. Just like Queen Regina got a heart. A lot of women on this YouTube app got heart. They got heart. Shout out to the chat. I'm out of here. I'm out of here. We will see each other in another video. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to my moderators. My moderators is in here. Ghost watching. Like and share the video. And you know what to do. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. Because I'm feeling very sad today. Very sad. But I'll be all right. I'll be all right. The Birdman always remind me, we got to pay the apartment. We got to pay the apartment, Arabia. And we going to do that. We going to do that. That's the only thing I can do. It is what it is. Shout out to the chat. I'm out of here.